NC Comic Con went down. What was it? Last Saturday.
Week
at
ago. The Durham Convention Center.
About a week ago.
Downtown Durham.
Durham Convention Center. And man, it was a dope experience, man. Dope experience. We were out there handing out flyers and meeting new people, connecting. Went to some dope panels.
The panel was shout out to the Cypher MCs from NC State.
Yeah, Cypher U
at the Free Expression Tunnel.
Yeah, Cypher University.
Kiddo.
Yeah.
Convo. Jerusalem.
You got
Fonzarelli.
You got Mike Myers.
And please forgive us if we don't remember all you guys' names. Yeah. You guys were incredible. Eternal DMC.
Yeah.
But with Comic-Con being last Saturday, let me tell you something. My very first Comic-Con, and I can remember the date. Well, I can't remember. I looked up the date. My very first Comic-Con was July 22nd, 1986.
Wow.
And I can tell you why. That was when Marvel dropped a like another division of Marvel Comics, the New Universe.
Okay.
July 22nd, 1986.
I wasn't born. I was 5.
Wow.
I was 5.
We're going to edit that part out. Y'all trying to play me.
I was 5 years old.
Y'all trying to play me. It's all right, though. But the reason why I remember that, I looked it up, was because that's when they began the new publication. And that was like the big thing at the Comic-Con, at the convention. It wasn't even called Comic-Con.
Okay.
But that's where the con comes from,
where
convention.
Was this at? Where was this at? Was this
86, Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Wow, that's stomping grounds right there, man.
I had to think about it.
Wow.
I had to think about that. I said, where was I? I was at a comic book convention. It wasn't a Comic-Con then. It was called the Comic Book Convention.
Wow. My grandfather, about 5-10 minutes in Bordentown, New Jersey.
Word up. Shout out NJ.
McGuire Air Force Base.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Close to close to the Six Flags Great Adventure X.
Right.
You know
this is Fort Dix.
Yeah.
Not to mention my man got on the fresh NJ cap on today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was like, I ain't seen one in a while. It was like an old school New Jersey Nets cap. I ain't seen an NJ.
Had to represent, you know what I mean? Jersey in the building.
That was when he premiered that line. That was like the big thing. They gave everybody the first issue of all the titles.
Right.
Of all those titles. And we had talked about the titles earlier. Starbrand, Spitfire and the Troubleshooters, Merce, Kickers Incorporated, DP7, which stood for Displaced Paranormals.
Okay.
That was kind of like the X-Men of the new universe. You know what I'm saying?
There's some things in the universe that I may not know of or may not have stumbled upon just yet. But this is insightful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They kept going. At first, I think they were trying to go for the Squadron Supreme, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think that they felt like. I don't know necessarily if the title would do good, because they had the limited series, and from my understanding, the limited series didn't sell well. So at first, this actually Jim Shooter's idea for Marvel, and Tom DeFalco was also involved, and I think they eventually convinced Marvel to let them do it, and it was approved on a $120,000 budget. As a smaller division where Jim Shooter and Tom DeFalco were.
So they created that whole
separate universe.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the universe is Earth. I can't remember the number. All these
you
different
got
Earths now.
616 and you got Earth.
All these Earths got these different numbers and everything now. But that's where, we had talked about before, the only, DC has always had multi universe.
Mm-hmm.
Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth S, Earth L.
Right.
I think Earth X is where Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew come from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Marvel had 3, like the regular universe.
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe.
No. Ultimate wouldn't even.
Oh, you talking about during that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the new universe, I think, is what
stemmed the Ultimate Universe.
Yes.
Ah.
They wanted the new universe to be like what the Ultimate Universe is now.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted it to be like that.
Because the Ultimate Universe, basically that universe was created for more types of stories and stuff.
Right.
That necessarily, because you had strong readers.
But these
and
are
they
also
didn't-
like the same character. Well, some were the same characters. Like
Well,
like,
yeah, that's how it
there's
is
a
in the
Spider-Man.
right.
The new universe was totally different characters, and the only other thing about the new universe was that it was supposed to be as general to life as possible. You don't have 50 million superheroes running around.
Oh, okay.
You only had like a very few people with powers, like Spitfire and the Troubleshooters. They had on armor and stuff like that. Kickers Incorporated, only one member was like super strong. These were like a bunch of like retired football players and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Displaced Paranormals, it was only 7 of them.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of be like,
So these
as
are
general-
totally different stories.
yeah,
right?
like general to life as possible.
Okay.
And totally different superheroes. Like there is no new universe Fantastic Four, no new universe X-Men, Spider-Man, anything like
Gotcha.
that. Totally different heroes, totally different
So I
storylines.
wonder if that universe still exists in like in the whole Marvel like.
I want to say that's
Is
what,
it-
like I said, what the Ultimate Universe became. And I'm trying to remember what Earth number it is, because there's a number to it, and it was preceded by what you call like the White Event, where there's like this big flash of light that lasted for like 13 seconds, and that's where you got like people like DP7, like they became powerful beings.
Oh.
Nobody, there's no mutants. Nobody was born like this.
Oh, so it's a totally different
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility
The
that
White Event, a strange astronomical phenomenon that occurred on July 22nd, 1986 at 4:22 a.m., lasted for mere moments. It bathed the earth in a bright light. And that's what many look completely normal, but for others, it caused genetic anomalies.
You know what
That's
that
it's
kind of
called.
reminds me of nowadays? The Terrigen Mist. The Terrigen
Terrigen
Mist,
Mist.
yeah, the Terrigen Mist has a lot to do with the Inhumans. And it's like pretty much if you're born inhuman, but a lot of people don't know that. You have regular human traits
Right.
until the Terrigen Mist hits you, and that brings out your abilities.
So this mist is something that I guess floats around, or
Yeah, I mean, however you're for like, and I know Kevin Feige announced that there's going to be a Miss Marvel television show for Disney Plus.
okay,
Now the Miss Marvel comic, her origin story, she was at a party or whatever. I guess she snuck out to go to a party, but she was on her way back from the party, and I think the party was at Liberty State Park in Jersey City because she's from Jersey City.
shout out NJ again.
And somehow the Terrigen Mist, it kind of went across the Hudson River from New York and got into Jersey City, and she was walking home and got hit, walked through the mist,
Right.
and it brought out her abilities, which she didn't know she was an Inhuman. You know what I mean? Now her abilities is she can kind of it's something similar to Mr. Fantastic.
Elastic abilities.
Not necessarily elastic, but she can make parts of her bodies big, and she even nicknamed herself like her abilities. She called it embiggened, like
Okay.
embiggened, like I'm embiggening, like you
So
know
she
what
can
I'm
make
saying?
like one big ass fist.
Yeah, like so
Okay.
she and that came into play like when she finally became Miss Marvel, and when Captain Marvel at the time was Miss Marvel, and she kind of passed
Right.
the mantle down to her.
Right.
There were situations to where she would fight these robots and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and her hand would swell up real big, and she'd hit them with
Right.
that fist and stuff. It's kind of like her foot would get big, and she'd kick.
But she can't
kick
make
the door
she can't,
down.
But she can't make her own self big. Her whole body.
I'm sure
just parts.
I think she can.
Okay.
I think she can. Yeah. But that's part of her abilities. Like she can embiggen herself. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to play out on the show.
The animation should be crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You talking about the CG?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
CG.
So, but yeah, that's what you were just explaining. That white light is kind of like that. Everybody's human or whatever.
Right.
And then the light hit, and then like,
But it's supposed to be something that's already in them,
uh,
and that mist hits you, and that's when it manifests itself.
right. It's
Gotcha.
yeah. The Terrigen Mist.
Gotcha,
Yeah. And that's
gotcha.
for the Inhumans.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. But yeah, also, but back to Comic-Con, bro. the things I see at Comic-Con now, it supersedes back then. Back then, really, honestly, it was about the writers and the artists.
And it still is that.
It wasn't like
that core is still there.
Contests, and there were panels, but not as many. I guess the subject matter, it wasn't a lot to really talk about.
It broadened since then,
back then. But just seeing those changes, and to let y'all know, I was a kid back then. It wasn't like I was 32 years old back in '86.
I got Q and Older Gods by Wu.
I was a kid then, but it was like my first one. Read it in the paper. No, matter of fact, The Dragon's Lair. The Dragon's Lair, the comic book shop back in Fayetteville, shout out Dragon's Lair, had posters and stuff up about it. It was at the Holiday Inn. And I said, okay. I asked my mom to drop me and my friend Daniel off. I can't remember Daniel's last name. If you're out there, bro, shout out. To drop us off. And it was just room full of comics. Just to sell, to buy, to trade. Local merchants from Virginia.
Wow.
Atlanta, D.C., from all over,
Yeah.
Back then, and I'm sure they do it now.
Yeah, they travel. Yeah, they travel.
Travel.
We seen it here.
Yeah.
A lot of people that came from out of town.
But yeah, it was about the comics, buy, sell, trade, as well as the artists and writers.
Right.
Frank Miller was there.
Wow.
Daredevil.
Wow.
And the personalities weren't as big back then, or not
right.
that there weren't as many.
Yeah.
As there is now.
Right.
So Frank Miller being there was huge. Chris Claremont being there was huge.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the room if Frank Miller and Chris Claremont were at NC Comic Con? You wouldn't be able to get in the room.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to get in the room. But yeah, just the costumes, bro. How many people did we see that were imaginative?
Yeah, they had
creative.
They had some lit cosplay going on there. And like I said before,
shout out Rogue.
Like I said before, I respect cosplay. As an art, these people actually, it's the art to it, man. A lot of these cosplayers, they go on tours, different conventions. They take about 3 or 4 different costumes.
Absolutely.
With them, different 3 to 4 different looks.
And some of these look so professional.
Yeah, and they take the time, and they actually, in between cons, they put in work, man. And I'm think
pretty sure some make personal appearances.
Yeah, and that's an art in itself to get it to a point to where it looks like realistic.
Saw a lot of Jokers.
Oh yeah, a lot of Jokers. You took a picture with the Riddler. You said you
just to let y'all know, that is my favorite Batman villain, not the Joker. The Riddler is my favorite Batman villain.
Yes, yeah.
We got pictures of Rorschach.
Yeah, Rorschach from the Watchmen.
The Watchmen. What do you think of the Watchmen right now? Have you been able to get into it?
I saw the first episode. It looks dope to me. I mean, I love Regina King and everything.
Sister Knight, bro.
Yeah, Woo. Sister Knight.
She's awesome.
But no, yeah. As far as the con, man, a lot of great people, a lot of great artists out there. I mean,
even Ken C purchased.
I went crazy in there. I'm like, my first Comic-Con, man, I started down like, yo, this is a world I fucking didn't even know existed. God damn. I felt right at home. I was like a goddamn kid in a candy store.
I'm telling you, it's definitely a great experience. Shout out to the good folks at NC Comic Con. Shout out to we hit some dope panels, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the panels was the Contest of Champions.
Yes.
Panel where they showcased like we said earlier, Cypher University MCs. They battled using nerd content.
Yes.
That was so ill. And shout out to Convo, who's the winner of the first annual.
Got him a belt.
Yeah, got him a belt and everything.
The championship belt.
Yes, yeah, and like I said, shout out to Vinyls and Villains podcast, the homies Terrence and Quinn Melvin. They definitely greeted us with open arms. We were in there. The vibe was right. Shout out to Cut Right. He's part of a music group called Just His Music Group. He's a dope artist who ties nerd and geek culture with Christian and ministry, and he's dope. He has a album out right now called Marvel Us, and you can check that out on all streaming platforms.
He was dressed as the Captain Marvel from the other publication.
Yeah, he was dressed as Shazam.
Shazam, yes.
Billy
Was
Batson.
Shazam.
Billy Batson. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to Cut Right. Yeah, man. I mean, overall it was a great experience. I do want to shout out to I do want to send a shout out to the founder of BlurredCon. He goes by Con Man Hilton. You know what I mean?
That was a great panel with him and him and Marcus Williams.
Con Man Hilton, George
the
Hilton
artist
George.
and writer for Tuskegee Airs.
Yeah, definitely Marcus Williams, and so the panel was headed by headed by Hilton George and Marcus Williams. Like Rick said, Tuskegee Airs, he's the illustrator for that. Marcus Williams is, and Hilton George is the founder of BlurredCon. Dude, I never been to BlurredCon. I've heard many stories about BlurredCon, and during the panel they showed the illest video, and I wanted to go right then and there. I don't know about y'all, but goddamn, I mean, goodness.
I'm there. We are there next year, 2020.
We definitely will be at the
Hip Hop Marvels will be at BlurredCon
in the building for BlurredCon,
Alexandria, Virginia.
And one more bonus to that. That's my birthday weekend, so we gonna turn it up.
You know it.
We gonna be in the building.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw BlurredCon, I wish that was like around when I was younger, because it wasn't necessarily cool to be into comics like that. If you were, it was really about the art. I was also along with the storylines and things like that. Frank Miller and Chris Claremont are two of my favorite comic book writers, as far as storylines. Take Daredevil, for example. Every issue, during Frank Miller's run, every issue of Daredevil wasn't about Daredevil whooping ass. Sometimes he'd just have stories about him and Elektra.
Right.
Or him and his assistant, Foggy Allen.
Right.
Just stories.
Right.
Even sometimes with the X-Men, how they were dealing with things outside the realm of them having to use their power, just like dealing with humanity and people in general. And and things like that. Kind of like even how Cloak and Dagger used to use fighting drugs during the background of their stories. Dealing with pushers and pimps and things like that, back there in the 80s and early 90s.
Right. But yeah, man, the con was great. Like I said, it was Friday, November 8th through Sunday, November 10th. They had a lot of guests in the building. Kevin Eastman from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fame was there. We got a couple of flicks of Kevin Eastman. Shout out to Ken on the camera. Multitasking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Man of many hats. But they some of the guests they had were Bob Burden, Richard Case, Michael Cho, Becky Cloonan, of course, like I said, Kevin Eastman. You had Teenie Howard. And I apologize, Teenie. I slaughtered your name when we were announcing the Comic-Con on the last episode. So I apologize. I said Tiny, but it's actually Teenie. So my apologies for that. For butchering your name. But yeah, Tommy Lee Edwards, Brockton McKinney, and Mike Perkins, to name a few. They were all in attendance. I want to send a shout out to the staff, man, because everything ran so smooth. So big shout out to Alan Gill, who's the owner and CEO. Big shout out to Tommy Lee Edwards, who's the co-owner, senior director. Shout out to Brockton McKinney, Chris Ferguson. Shout out to Sienna Fallon, who's the media and communications director, for hooking us up with the dope media passes for us to be in the building this year. So yeah, big shout out, Sienna. And I'm looking forward to the next one in Raleigh.
Oak City. April 4th through the 5th, 2020.
Oh, yeah, we got to shout out Oak City. Yeah, Oak City Comic-Con.
where it's going to feature the 40th anniversary world tour of Flash Gordon. If any of y'all remember the old school Flash Gordon movies,
Flash,
starring Sam
Savior
J.
of the
Jones,
universe.
Brian Blessed, and Melody Anderson, they
Yes.
will be in attendance
Yes.
at the Raleigh Convention Center.
And the homie Bob Camp. We have to set up an interview with Bob Camp.
Got to do that.
He's Hip Hop Marvel's to the core, and the reason why I say that is because during his stint at Marvel in the mid '80s, he's done artwork for hip hop, and by that I mean he's done album artwork for Africa Bambaataa and Nucleus, Jam on It, Jam on It's Revenge. So, I definitely want to pick his brain about his time at Marvel, and I mean he's also creator or co-creator of Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. Now, if y'all don't remember Ren and Stimpy, man, come on now. That was used to catch them on MTV at first.
Yeah.
Now you catch them on Nickelodeon.
Motherfucking Powdered Toast Man and shit. Motherfucker fly backwards. But yeah, so and then also Afua Richardson, Dr. Fu, dope artist. She's done work for Marvel and many other publications.
She's basically designed Wakanda.
Yes. So she's gonna be there. I met her at the NC Comic Con back in 2017 in Raleigh. I met her. Actually, she did a panel, Black Heroes Matter, with Daryl DMC McDaniels, and I had the pleasure of meeting them too during that time. So I'm looking forward to meeting her. Seeing her again. And yeah, so that's Oak City Comic Con. That's at the Raleigh Convention Center, April 4th through the 5th, 2020. And Hip Hop Marvels will be in the building.
Come out
then.
and enjoy. Holler at us if you see us. We holler back.
What I mean? But back to NC Comic Con to close it off, man. Like I said, I had a great time. Once again, we're definitely going to BlurredCon if after that panel. But yeah, shout out to everybody in attendance. I mean, everybody was so, the vibe was just right. I mean, you can't ask for anything more, man. Like everything, shout out to all the new fans that we ran into. Shout out to all the new connects and all the new networking we done.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
Yeah,
it was a great time. It was a great time. Shout out the cat that had the Ghostbuster car, the Echo one. That was incredible. I don't know, how you put it together, but that was really dope. Everybody that came with the Joker. I saw so many dope Joker costumes, from kids to women.
Yeah.
Just different kinds. And that's what I really enjoyed about this Comic-Con as opposed to the ones I used to go to when I was a kid. Like I said, it was just really about the artists and the writers and buying, selling, and trading comics back then. But now, with the contest they had, we saw a dope Nightcrawler.
Yes.
The Punisher.
We saw Bob Ross Deadpool. That was dope. Had a MF Doom sighting.
Yeah, word. MF Doom sighting. He might have been out there. He didn't send fake ones to his show. Maybe he was the real one out there at Comic-Con.
Oh, shout out to NC Spidey at NC Spidey on Instagram. Y'all make sure to give him a follow. Very cool, dope individual. He had the headphones on. Looked like he was bumping some dope hip hop. Shout out to Ghostpool. So ghost busting Deadpool. So yeah, man, we had mad fun, man.
Shout out Rogue again.
Yeah, shout out Rogue. Shout out to Professor X.
Word, yeah, Professor X.
He goes by Lord Soto 1 on Instagram at Lord Soto 1. Yeah, Wolverine. Shout out to In-Game Thor. Yeah, man, the cosplay. Shout out to shout out to Johnny_5. He was Deadpool, along with Domino and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we had a great time, man. We got a lot of swag from there, a lot of dope art. There were a lot of independents there pitching ideas and starting Kickstarters and stuff like that. So yeah, man. I mean, what more can I say? NC Comic Con was definitely a dope experience. We just wanted to give a little quick recap of the experience for us. And
Many more
yeah.
to come. Many more to
Many
come.
more, yeah. You're gonna see Hip Hop Marvels at many more cons in the future, and you know, like I said, just look for us with those Infinity Mic tees, you know, promoting the brand, you know.
You get one out there at T Public though right now.
Yeah, we gotta plug that. You know what I'm saying? Gotta plug that.
T Public.
T Public, Hip Hop Marvels. You can grab you one of the. You can be part of the Hip Hop Marvels. You know what I'm saying? Squadron Supreme. You know what I mean? As Memphis Bleak put it, we are the Supreme Squad. You can dream hard, but reality is.
What was that off of? What was that off of?
That was off of You, Me, Him, and Her.
Yes.
Off of the Dynasty album.